because I had a different journey getting to, where I am now. And I just think I don't separate from what the outside world sees the quarterback position as to what our position as is on the team. That's really being a good teammate, leading guys where you need to.
Cam Ward had a really great offensive line. He holds the ball too long, whatever you want to say. Cam Ward is a very bad man. And as a Texans fan, I am wishing on the downfall of his career. Not because I don't think he's a great player. Actually, I think he was super fun. Go back and watch those Miami games. Super exhilarating. He always was calm, cool, collective, and found a way to pull out some crazy wins with an abysmal defense that was actively working against him. But now Cam Ward has come under some scrutiny. We talked about that a few days. People saying, hey, a lot of interceptions and a lot of that and a lot of this. But what I said, and what should scare my fellow Texans fans, is that Cam Ward wasn't mad. Cam Ward wasn't rattled like usual. Cam Ward went up to the linebacker and said, hey, yo, what did you see? What's happening? And with more context, we see that it's a veteran linebacker picking on a first-year player, but that first-year player is not letting it get broken. He's starting to add things to his bag. So the Titans were out there in the big house down there. Titans, where y'all call the Nissan Field? Where y'all call that thing over there? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Wow. Just wow. He is really good at throwing footballs. I don't know. Some people love Cam Ward. Some people say Cam Ward's not even an NFL quarterback. I love watching him throw the ball. And that's going to be very scary. Unless he's playing against the Texans, I'm going to love enjoying him do this. And all day long, he was just absolutely spinning that thing, right? Lasers, dots, beams, frozen ropes, whatever you like to call them. He was letting it loose in a lot of different ways.
Trips to his right and the receiver to his left, looking left, throw.
Now, I will add, people said this was an underthrow, and it was in fact an underthrow. But let's see, why was it an underthrow? We're gonna look at why it's an underthrow. But let's get through these clips first. Some of y'all said, I'll be going on too many tangents. That's gonna be our next tangent. So we are gonna give him his fair criticism. But for right now, oh wow, that's loud. If we could just appreciate the poetry and motion, right? Again, they're working on their timing for the sideline. That's look, we're talking about small kinks that are going to continue to be worked out. They're going to continue to grow. You can't teach that, though. I don't think you can grow into that. I don't think you can grow into layering the football like that. And obviously, nobody does it like T. Lockett does. So lots of great things that we're going to see from Cam Ward. We're going to finish up here with some of the fan videos, because obviously the fans are in the stands. They're taking their videos. That's on the left side. After that, we're going to hear some interviews from Cam Ward and also teammates as well, just speaking about what it's like being around number one, the new number one in town for the Tennessee Titans. But yeah, shout out to all my Tennessee Titans fans. I know I give y'all a hard time. I haven't even brought up the uniforms today. I probably will at the end just to make y'all upset. I'll put it at the beginning of the video, and then y'all start commenting about how awful Texans people are, which I don't think that's very nice. I never say anything bad about the Titans fans. I've never said nothing bad about y'all. I just said that I really, really, really want the Houston Oilers to belong to Houston. And even that's enough. It's all the video's over. They're writing their comments right now. But back to praising your quarterback. That's what I'm doing. I was going crazy because I say that and they forget that this whole video is just me talking about the resilience of Cam Ward, talking about why I think he's going to defy all the odds. I'm speaking about why I think some of his early struggles, quote unquote, is really only going to result in phenomenal things later down. Oh, this is the 4-minute video. Oh, God, no. Sorry. I didn't want to watch that. I want to watch one of these. So another narrative about Cam Ward, right, is that, had a really great offensive line. He holds the ball too long, whatever you want to say. That's the other angle of that throw. But again, like I continue to say, I think the key here, he did this a lot at Miami too, throwing across his body, and it resulted in a lot of interceptions. So I would like to see his tendencies to stop that. But at the same time, if you stop that, you stop what Cam Ward is. And what Cam Ward is a player who's overly confident in his arm, right? It's not just about being confident in himself, but what throws that he can make. He thinks that he can make every throw, and 97% of the throws he can make, but that 3% might get him in more trouble in the NFL, because we've seen it get him in trouble at the college level. But man, is it not exhilarating? Is it not phenomenal? Does he not have the arm and athleticism to pull it off? He does. He has it. And it's hard for me. I'm not going to tell him that he can't do these phenomenal things as he continues to do phenomenal things. So some of these throws we've already seen. These are just, again, the fan angle. So you get a few different angles from it. either sideline or here or there. Again, this is that rolling right, throwing it back left. This little Dover route to the Riddler. That's what I'm calling it, the Riddler. And then we look at a Ridley's break there as Cam Ward delivers a nice ball to him. And then here we go. Mr. Xavier Restrepo. If you don't know about Mr. Xavier Restrepo, this is one of Cam Ward's teammates. He's an undrafted free agent. He begged basically every team that talked to him. And this is just, going back to the character of Cam Ward, the teammate of Cam Ward. Every team that called him talked about Xavier Restrepo. As soon as he got on the Titans, guess what he was doing? He was bugging the Titans about getting Xavier Restrepo on the team. He's on the team. Obviously didn't get drafted, but undrafted free agent. He has been by all marks showing up as a wide receiver 1 in these drills. And sadly, Treylon Burks, who, a lot of people have had, especially if you're a Titans fan, have a lot of opinions about him being a bit of a bust, coming out of Arkansas. But he was looking good. Sadly, he is hurt. So what that means is that Xavier Restrepo might have a clearer path, right? So if you're a Cam Ward guy, you might appreciate Cam Ward being able to have somebody that he has a lot of confidence in, right? Has a lot of confidence, has a lot of trust in. But it sucks to see somebody, a young talent like that, have the injury that's going to be pretty significant. I think he's going to miss a bit of the first half of the season. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Titans put him on the PUP list, so I think at least 4 to 5 weeks. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But all in all, like I said, I think this team is looking for so much new identity that I'm not sure if that's going to be a bad thing, quote unquote, right? And this is another angle, another angle of that crazy throw. Again, the ability to do it. Some people say it's a sack. I still think it's phenomenal. So there we are there. Before we get here, let's do one thing. Or before we watch that video, we're gonna break down that. We're gonna get all super analytical or whatnot, but I want to hear Cam Ward, because I think, being a quarterback is not simply just being a quarterback, right? It's also, it's also about kidnapping the babies. You know what I'm saying? It's about signing the babies, right, and taking the names of defenders' ankles. So let's hear what Cam Ward and then his new teammate Jeffrey Simmons have to.
Where does that leadership come from in your eyes?
I just think just understanding your teammates, learning more about them, where they're from, their background, how they get to this point. Because I had a different journey getting to, where I am now. And I just think I don't separate from what the outside world sees the quarterback position as to what our position is on the team. That's really being a good teammate, leading guys when you need to, and then also not being a selfish player. We have a locker room full of unselfish players who all they want to do is win. I'm excited that I'm a part of the team.
Where does that leadership come from in your eyes?
I just think just understanding your teammates.
So that's just speaking about
how they get to this point.
The source of his teammates, and this is the other video about the level of expectations that Cam Ward has.
Stood out to me was they can't beat you into the office. What time are you getting in the facility every day, and who have you been bringing with you?
I get there early. I get there by 5:30. Just the process what I need to do to try to get, be able to play my best ball in the upcoming weeks, and then just also get my receivers up there. Really, he's always up there. Ellick and Chim, he's always up there. Restrepo's up there. We got so really all the young guys, we really stay up there because we're behind the 8 ball. We're playing against 7-year, 10-year vets, and we gotta be ready to play from day one. So I'm excited though. That's why we have an emphasis on getting there, learning everything, and just trying to get better every day.
So there's been a lot. And, I hate that to have to bring up Shedeur, but it's just because when I say this, I think some people in the comments, some of my people who watch for Shedeur get mad because they're like, well, Shedeur's that dude too. And then some of my Titans fans are like, dog, why you have to bring up Shedeur? And it's because, like, Drake and Kendrick, they're going to be linked together, right? In a more positive way. I think Jackson Dart and Shedeur are Drake and Kendrick. But, I think, almost like a Kendrick and Baby Keem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna talk about these two, not only because they were listed as 1 and 2 quarterbacks, but also because they share the same quarterback coach, right? They developed the same. They trained in the offseason the same. We watched them grow, seemingly a friendship as well as a partnership, and how they were doing business. And shout out to Jerome Stewart at Virginia Tech, because he also has a select quarterback as well. So I say all that to say that I say that so we don't tear somebody down to bring somebody up, because I think both of these young men do phenomenal in front of the media, right? I heralded a lot of what Shedeur does in that, but I don't want to I don't want that to take away from the fact that Cam Ward does it in his own way, right? And it's a way that allows the confidence to come through, but it's still, there's a comfortability there. There's a train there. There's a restraint as a new quarterback that still gives off a bit of humility and different things like that. So you still need to champion other young quarterbacks that do it in their own way. Shador marches to the beat of his own drum, just like Cam Ward does. They're both extremely confident. It might just come out packaged a little different, right? And then on top of that, the different organizations that they are, right? He's with the Titans organization that's really looking to get that spark. They've been known in the past when they were great to be about grit, right? Hard work, all those different things, right? So to have somebody who's about grit, hard work, and getting after it and talking that smack, I think it's a match made in heaven, and I think it's going to only allow his confidence to bloom even more. And again, very, very scary for Texans fans like me. But let's hear what Titans Jeffrey Simmons has about Cam Ward and setting the tone in general about training camp here.
I mean, we all know I consider myself as, the captain and the leader on the defense. And, the way I go, I feel like everybody else go. And I'm big on the team is led from the trenches. No matter the offense line, defense line, the way we go, the team go. And I try to bring the energy. I try to bring the juice, no matter if it's not talking to Callahan or Cam Ward. They're on the offensive side of the ball. So I just try to bring that energy. And it's vice versa. You got the head of the snake, and that's our quarterback. No matter what team it is, they're the head of the snake. They get the offense going. So when you got a quarterback, but he's a young quarterback that's doing that, you can't help but to rally behind him. You can tell by the response from the offensive line and everybody else around him. He pushing them guys and he making them talk a little smack more. So I think that's what we want. That's what we need from out of Cam. He's gonna have to play football for us, and me and Cam may be talking smack, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna be the first one to have his back on Sunday.
So, it's clear to see that, it's not just the young players. It's the veterans that are starting to catch the whiff of what Cam Ward's cooking up, right? That was a terrible analogy, but you get what I'm saying. He's very dynamic. The throws are phenomenal. Everything's great. But what about a little bit of negativity? Not negativity, but just me being a dweeb. And I do want to talk about it. Sometimes I get comments like, are you coaching or XYZ? I think y'all are, jokingly saying that, I don't know what I'm talking about. I want you to know that I don't know what I'm talking about. I just played football, been watching it a long time. I've listened to other people speak about football, and I'm applying those different things, right? I've had friends who are quarterbacks. So, no. That doesn't. I'm not saying that to say that, oh, you should trust when I say no. I recommend you have your own opinion, dog. And even people with the biggest opinions, you see the whole Ryan Clark versus Cam Newton thing. Even if you have the accolades, people are gonna come at you crazy, and you can be wrong too. So it is what it is. But from my standpoint, right, this yap session, right, we're gonna speak about underthrown balls. Now, I always like to look at. Anytime I look at a ball, the first thing I want to look at is technique. I want to look at base. What's it called? I want to look at his base. I want to look at everything there. Well, I don't want to just focus on the outcome of the ball, right? You got to look at the timing when it was released. We got to figure out why, and we know Cam Ward to be able to throw some missiles. Not only, right, and another thing that's going to tell you is the velocity of the ball. Not velocity, but the shape, what do you call that? The way the ball's doing this little, I'm saying. Clearly, this is not a tight spiral, too. So this is not only seemingly underthrown, but you also have a ball that it seems like he didn't get all of. So am I blocking his feet just a little bit? So I'm gonna move my noggin down and low a little bit. We're gonna take a peek at the feet. Pause. But that's what we're gonna take a peek at right now. So right now he's on. It looks like the tip of his toes here. It looks like he doesn't have as much weight shifted over to that front foot. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like he kind of rose up. But oftentimes when you see that finish, you want to see it. Wow, I'm over here beating up dang Mike. You want to see it finish. You want to see it open. And again, he's finishing his rotation, so it might be a little different there. From this, it looks like, okay, maybe he had a lot of power that which he's known for that generated into that whipping motion, which again, Cam Ward is known for being able to throw any ball, sidearm, XYZ, but I don't think his legs were as incorporated besides just getting that thrust, I think, or getting that velocity, getting that rotation from your top half. You also want to be able to make sure that you can fully transfer that weight over so you get as much of that velocity as you want. At least that's what the smart people that talk about quarterbacks, that's what they say, okay? And that's what it looks like right here. It looks like he's just not fully in his legs. And that, of course, can lead. I mean, yeah. Okay, so boom. This is all about release point. That's what it's about. This is all about release point. As you can see, the base is wide. Might I say, I think it's a little too wide. So he hitches right here and then decides to throw right here. Okay. Let's see where this is tight. This is good. Everything on the top half looks good. The bottom half he just didn't go all the way through. Look at where he throws his ball. He throws it right here. So he hasn't even transferred his weight yet. He's simply stepping in it and beautiful front foot. I know I talk about Shedeur and his front foot. That's why this, and as much as people want to say, oh, it's an underthrown ball, it's phenomenal for what it is because he doesn't have all of his legs here. He's releasing this ball right here, right? And you see how, and look at the full throw. You see how later it kind of comes, like the full weight does eventually transfer, but by that time you've already thrown a sidearm that in which you didn't even really use. Look at his back leg. His back leg is still, you know what I'm saying? That's like whenever, like whenever you're trying to throw like an up ball, like, that's what it looked like. Looked like, oh, I'm actually just trying to put some air underneath this instead of really giving it, because that's what he should have done, right? With all this lead. And then I want to talk about, I speak about when decisions are made to make throws. And I think that's important to talk about. That he's deciding to make his throw right now. He sees it. Oh, wow. Calvin Ridley's got him beat, right? So unless his thought process was, I don't want this safety who's all the way at the other side of the numbers to not catch up, I don't know why you don't put everything in this and you just to this 40-yard line, right? Let him just get under it. Now, again, it still gets to where it needs to get, but you allow, you just allow the defender to catch up. So I think that's what we're seeing here. And that's something that was said about Cam Ward, right? Sometimes the mechanics can be a little bit rushed sometimes. I do want to speak about even where he, like, look at how low he drops the ball too, right? And I think that's just usually what he does. And then the release point too, he drops the ball. He's up here, great hand, and then drops the ball, comes up over the top, which is great. But again, where is his look at where his, again, the top half is like perfect. Almost maybe you can get that other arm in a little tighter, but I mean, man, doing everything besides dropping that ball. But when you get to here, right, the chest is open, it's big, it's flowing through, but he's released this ball right now. You know what I'm saying? So does he transfer his weight? Yeah, now he's transferring his weight. But if he releases the ball right now, the ball's already out of his hand. If he releases the ball now, then you have all the power, because then you can fully open it up. So I think that's what that was. It's a small incremental timing thing that I think, I think he's going to be all right. Again, the fact that the ball still got there is important to know, because that means he can put it in a place in the space, even in those circumstances that only his receiver can get it. Very bright future for Cam Ward. And again, as a Texans fan, I'm not happy about it. So like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you like football content. Is there any other team you want me to talk about during training camp instead of just tormenting the fake Oilers over there? Let me know. Oiler fans, feel free to dunk on me if y'all do beat us, because them Stroud boys is coming. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't scared, but I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared of Cam Warren. I ain't scared of your team, though. You feel me? I ain't scared. Oh, wow. There's also a pick. See, I didn't even show this. But I'm going to leave it be, man. I'm going to leave it be. Y'all be great. Y'all be amazing. Like the video if you like, dislike if you don't like, subscribe if you like football content. Was